Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Rocket back again with another video. Today I have a special treat for you. As you all may know, I'm an avid collector of rare Pokemon, and in PokeMMO, there's a lot of things that can make a Pokemon rare. Catch date, particles, IVs, EVs, OT, and so much more. Well, today I'm going to be showing off my collection of rares that I've spent nearly a year collecting, and I estimate the total value of this collection, given that I found the right buyer for everything, is around 500 million yen. That's quite a lot of yen, and right now I'm only sitting at 17 mil. That's because I typically try to buy all this stuff at a discounted rate. I spend a lot of my time GTL sniping while I hunt, which is how I came to acquire this collection. Now, one last thing before I show off my collection. This intro, the footage that you're seeing right now, is recorded in present day PokeMMO, but the bulk of this video was recorded over a month ago. So some of my OT collection, for example, may be dated because people have changed their names and whatnot. And I even have some footage at the end showing off rares that I've sniped off the GTL in the past month. With all of that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy the collection. So I actually labeled everything that I wanted to show off in this video today with this little symbol right here so we can easily find everything in these boxes. And everything that I'm going to be showing off in this video isn't just on my Team Rocket account. I actually have two wallets that I store a lot of this stuff on. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer video, but it's going to be worth it, trust me. Alright, so starting in this box, this is my utility box. These are just Mon that are significant in some way that serve some type of utility purpose for my account. So starting off, we have this Dusclops right here. This is actually a 2014 Dusclops with perfect nature. As you can see, it's careful nature, and it has perfect IVs right here, and it was caught in 2014. I've been trying my hardest to find really old utility Pokemon, replacing my actual utility Pokemon with them because I think it's pretty cool. So this right here is just a 2014 Pickpocketer. Following that trend right here, we have a 2014 Catching Breloom. As you can see, it's adamant nature, perfect IVs, and it was hatched in 2014. I mainly use this guy for catching, and then alongside of that, I have a this isn't a 2014, but it is an O-Jesting OT. If you guys are familiar, that's a content creator in this community. He actually wild caught this. If you actually look at the catch data, it says met at level 8. And as you can see, the IVs are damn near perfect. It is an amazing wild catch, and it has adamant nature. So I use this in junction with the 2014 Breloom that I have when I'm catching Pokemon, just because they're both really good in their own regard. And then these four Meowths right here are a little significant, but I have to explain why they're significant. So if I just pull these guys up right here, as you can see, these guys right here were actually one of the first alpha sets to be caught. As you can see, they were all Fateful Encounters from 2022. And if you're not familiar, in 2022, that is when alphas were released into the game. And the first set of alphas were Clefairy, Meowth, Pikachu. So if you go ahead and look at the stats of these guys, all of them have ideal nature. So this guy is adamant, this guy's adamant, and this guy is naughty. And then if you look at the IVs, these are not, perfect IVs, but they're definitely usable for what they would be used for. These are all payday pickup Meowths, but I still have to train all of them. But they're just really good IVs, really good nature, and they were, the Fateful Encounter from when they first came out. So I thought they were pretty cool. I do collect all of the Fateful Encounters from that year, but these were just the ones that were like utility use. So once I level those to 100, I'm going to be replacing this Meowth that I have with those. Alright, so following the trend of 2022 alphas, in this box right here, I have a 2022 Fateful Encounter EV. This is another one of those alphas that were first released in 2022, and this is the same kind of story with the Meowth. This is adamant nature, really good IVs. I haven't decided what I want to evolve this into, but once I make that decision, I'll go ahead and do that. I just have this guy in here because this is a really rare find. If you look at all the 2022 Fateful Encounters, it's really hard to find one that has perfect nature and perfect IVs. So this guy is pretty damn rare. Moving on to the next box, these are my special Raidmon right here. So I do have these 3 boxes of Raidmon right here, which I showed off in a different video, which you can check out in the description. But these 2 boxes right here are my special Raidmon. These are Raidmon that are either ready to be used, or I just need to train them and then they'll be ready to be used. And they have some type of special feature associated with them. They're not just a regular Mon. So we're just gonna go through all these. I know there's a lot of them, but like I said, this is gonna be quite a long video. So this box right here is my special Raidmon. This top row right here are all my old Mon that have really good particles on them. I actually started this like niche collection where I wanted to buy out all the 2012 to 2016 competitive Mon that had significant particles on them, and these are all that I managed to collect so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. As you can see right here, we have a 2016 competitive Tyranitar, adamant nature, really good IVs on him, hatched in 2016, and it has the shiny Dark Crystal and the Dark Crystal particle on it, so pretty sick. Moving on, we have a 2016 Marowak, jolly nature, hatched in 2016, and it has the Kanto Friends particle on it. Pretty decent IV spread on it as well. Moving on, we have a 2014 Primate, adamant nature. This was actually wild caught in 2014, so that's pretty cool. It has the Kanto Friends on it, and it has a really good IV spread. I actually used this guy in the raids as well, and it was pretty useful. Moving on to the right here, I'm actually going to show the Espeon, the Leafeon, and this Absol all at once just because they're kind of similar. As you can see, Leafeon right here is a 2013 wild caught. The Espeon is a 2015 hatch, and the Absol is a 2014 hatch. If you look at the IVs for the Espeon, it is pretty solid, and then it has the Dark Crystal particle on it. If you look at the Espeon right here, it has Kanto Friends and really solid IV pool on it. Timid nature. And then if you look at the Absol, it has the Dark Crystal Particle on it, and it has really solid IVs and Adamant Nature. If you're not familiar with why Absol is really, really cool for being this old, is it's really hard to find an Absol from 2012 to 2015, because back in the day, only Kanto was available as a region, and the only way that you could get Absol is if you went to Altering Cave, so it was a very rare mon to get to begin with, so getting a competitive ready one from back in the day is actually pretty hard to get. This thing is worth quite a lot of money. Moving on right here, we have a 2015 Jolly Blaziken. As you can see, it was hatched in 2015. Really solid IVs on this guy. And then we have a 2015 Nidoking Jolly Nature. Solid IVs on this guy. This guy has Kanto Friend Particle on it. Moving on to the right, we have a Kanto Friend Adam Nature 2016 Charizard right here. Really solid IV pull in this guy. We have a 2015 Zangoose Jolly Nature with the Kanto Friend Particle. And then I'm just going to show the last four all at once just so we can get this section over with. So as you can see right here, I have a 2015 Swallow, a 2015 Altaria, a 2016 Granbull, and a 2014 Kingler. They're all competitive ready. They're all Adamant Nature. If you look at the IV spread on these guys, really solid overall. And then if you look at the catch date, you can see this one's a 2014, this one's a 2016, this one's a 2015, and this one is a 2015. And I believe they all have Kanto Friends on them. Yep, they all have Kanto Friends on them, so that's pretty sick. This is my full extent of my collection of these guys so far. They rarely go on the GTL, to be honest with you. It's really hard to come by these guys. So I think I have a pretty solid collection of these so far. Moving on to the next mon right here. These are all my cool OT mon right here that are raid ready. So I'm just going to go through these guys real quick. Right here, I have a Disco Shiba Snorlax. As you can see, it's Adamant Nature comp stats. If you're not familiar, Disco Shiba is a PvP YouTuber in the community. Moving on right here, we have a Neo OT Chansey. If you're not familiar, Neo is a content creator in the community. This is a competitive ready Chansey right here. Moving on, we have a Minish Uwu Garchomp, another content creator. Adamant Nature. Really solid IV spread on this guy. Right here is a Mega Bladers 2016 OT. I found this on the GTL a while ago and I had to pick it up because I don't have a Mega Bladers OT yet. This is a Spanish YouTuber in the community. As you can see, it's a Jolly Nature, really solid stats on this guy. Moving on right here, this is actually my Petrowski OT Porygon right here. I actually redeemed this as a Twitch reward, so shout out Petrowski for making this for me. It's Modest Nature, pretty much ideal for what you'd want out of Porygon. So the next one is a Best Friends OT Gengar. As you can see, it's Modest Nature, really good IVs. If you're not familiar, Best Friends is Roy Rogers News. This is his in-game name. I'm sure you guys know Epoch. You're probably familiar with the whole situation that happened. He actually got banned on this account, and I managed to get this OT off of him before that happened, so it's impossible to get an Epoch OT anymore, so I hold this guy near and dear to my heart. As you can see, it's Adamant Nature, you know, competitive stats, pretty solid. Moving on to the next mon right here, we have a Dimitri Draco OT. This is a PokeMMO content creator slash streamer. As you can see, this is Adamant Nature, really solid IVs on this guy. Moving on to the next mon, we have a Young Cabbage OT Charizard. As you can see, it's Hidden Ability, Modest, really solid IV. Moving on to the next OT, this is a Karoshi OT. If you're not familiar with Karoshi, he is the guy that had the biggest dry streak in PokeMMO history. I actually just found this floating on the GTL, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Karoshi's OT. Picked it up, and did confirm this is indeed his OT. Or at least it was before the recent update where everybody changed their OTs. But anyways, this is Adamant Nature, really solid IV pull on this guy. And then the last three right here are the last three significant OTs I have for Raidmon. I have a Donald Dankist OT, another content creator, and this is a Modest Rotom with pretty solid stats. We have a Halen XO OT. If you guys remember, Halen XO is actually the content creator that helped me make PokeMMO Rewind 2024. So really awesome guy. I got this OT off him, Modest Nature, really solid. And then on the last OT, we have an official Darku OT. One of my good friends and content creator for the community. As you can see, this is an Adamant Nature Luxray. This is kind of his Pokemon mascot, if you will. And as you can see, this is a Perfect Nature, Perfect IV Luxray right here. If you guys remember early in the video, I mentioned I was collecting the 2022 Fateful Encounter first alphas. I also have this other mini collection that I've been starting. Basically, I've been trying to get the first Raidmon. As you can see, these are all Fateful Encounter 2024. That's when the raids came out initially, the first raids. I've been trying to get a set of these guys that have Perfect IV, Perfect Nature, because they don't get posted on the GTL very often, and if they do get posted, they're very expensive. So I've been trying to get these for a good deal. I've never spent more than $1 mil on these guys. At the most, I think I spent 300K, so I think I've gotten a pretty good deal on all these, considering they were the first alphas and they're, you know, still have the Fateful Encounter on them. The Tauros right here, I have a Jolly and an Adamant variation of them, and as you can see, the IVs are pretty fucking solid for wild encounters. And then if you look at the Braviaries right here, I have a Lonely Nature one and a Naughty Nature one, and then if you look at the IV pulls on these guys, really solid IV spreads. And then I have this Steelix right here that is a Lonely Nature and pretty solid IVs. So I just been kind of collecting these guys just because I think it's kind of cool to, you know, have competitive variations of the Fateful Encounter first alphas from the raids. And this is all I've managed to get so far on these. Moving on to my next collection, these are actually just more significant OTs. They aren't necessarily like content creators. I organized this section right here to be like content creator OTs, and then the rest of these are kind of just like OTs of like cool people in the community slash just cool OTs. So these two right here are Frags OTs. So if you're not familiar, Frags is a very popular PvPer in our community. He's always on the top of the PvP leaderboard, so he's very notorious in the PvP community. And I have both of his OTs. This one's a 2016 and this one's a 2017. They're both ideal nature, ideal stats on both of them. I'm really satisfied with these pickups because, you know, Frags is a, you know, pretty notorious person in the community. It's cool to have his OT. Moving on to this next one right here, I have a blue OT Doug Trio. As you can see, this is Jolly Nature, competitive ready, 2017. Blue is just a, you know, cool OT. Like if I see an OT that I'm like, wow, that is pretty fucking cool, I'm going to pick it up, especially if it's competitive. So really happy with that pickup right there. These are actually my unknown OTs, this section right here. I have a small collection of unknown OT Pokemon that are competitive ready. I've been trying to pick these guys up. They usually go in the GTL for a really expensive amount, like more than $1 mil sometimes too. So it's kind of hard to find cheap variations of these on the market. You really have to keep on looking. But as you can see, this is a competitive ready unknown OT Kangaskhan. This is a competitive ready unknown OT Snorlax. And this is a competitive ready unknown OT Chansey. If you're curious how these came to be in the game, essentially back in like the 2016 era, as you can see, these are all 2016. The way the game handled unknown OTs, if you didn't have the COD OT for the Pokemon and then you egged it, instead of it giving your OT on the Pokemon, it would just give unknown OT, which was pretty uncommon. Like not a lot of people would do that. It's like a niche scenario. And nowadays the way you would get unknown OTs, if you bred a shiny that like you didn't originally catch or something, like I think that's the scenario, but you can pretty much only get it in that scenario. You can't get a non-shiny unknown OT anymore. That's just not a thing. So these became like a rare commodity, and I've just been collecting them you know, ever since. I'd have a few other unknown OTs that I'll be showing off later in this video, but these are my competitive variations of them. Moving on to the right here, we have a Fungus. This is a 2023 Fateful Encounter. I'm not sure if this is the first Fateful Encounter Fungus, but I just picked this up because it's like pretty much comp ready and it's a Fateful Encounter. Once again, I'm not really sure if this is like the first one of its iteration of Fungus alphas coming out, but I just picked it up because it was a Fateful Encounter with really good IVs. Moving on to the right here, this is my No-T competitive Cryogonal. Now, if you're familiar with the no-OT market, they typically cost around like 100k to like 400k for a non-competitive regular no-OT, depending on the mon. And then if you had a competitive variation of it, is worth significantly more. For example, I've seen this Vanillix competitive no-OT Pokemon go on the market for several mil, like I think 6-7 mil at some points, and it just keeps on getting sold to different people, and people keep flipping it. They have a really niche market, but they are worth a lot of money. As you can see, this has no-OT, timid nature, and it is really good IVs. The only thing this thing is missing is it's too often Spadef from being 20, but that's not a huge deal. Finding a competitive variation of these guys is really difficult. And then if you look, I actually added the shiny Dark Crystal and the Dark Crystal Particle on this guy. Shout out Disco Shiva, he's the one who actually set this up for me when the holiday was out. Yeah, this is a really cool Pokemon, especially having like a rare particle on it that you can no longer get, and it being no OT. If you're curious how no OTs came in the game, essentially there were mysterious balls released in 2022, and for a short period of time, if you were to open the mysterious ball, the mon would come out with no OT. And if you open those same balls nowadays, it would come out with the OT. So it was just a glitch from back in the day, which makes these like really niche and cool collectibles. Moving on to the next mon right here. These are actually all of my North Pole competitive mon that I've collected so far. So if you take a look at these guys, I made a video all about North Pole Mon, which I'll leave in the description of the video if you want to check that out. But as you can see, these are all competitive ready, hasty, timid, jolly. Really solid IVs on all of them. And then if you look at the hatch location, which is what makes these guys significant, is they were all hatched in the North Pole. And if you're curious what the North Pole is, it's essentially an event that was held from 2015 to 2018, I believe. Not a lot of people caught the mon from the North Pole, but typically like a wild caught mon from the North Pole would range from like 1 mil to like 3 mil maybe. And then a hatched at location North Pole mon would go for significantly more. It's kind of hard to put a price on these guys. I personally think they're worth several dozen mil. But that's just me personally, just because there's just not a lot of them floating around in the game. I'm kind of associating the price with how many there are. There isn't necessarily like a huge market for this. This is super niche. Only like collectors would really go for these guys. So that's why, you know, in the title of the video, I said my bank or my, you know, PC boxes are worth several hundred mil. That's only if I were to find the right buyer and I sold it for the amount that I agree it's worth. So it's kind of an opinion-based value. But in my defense, I'm kind of backing it up with like facts and logic. You know, this is a very niche market. There aren't a lot of these in the game to begin with. They're super rare. There are people who would buy these, like myself. I believe I got the Electivire for like about $1 mil. Same thing with the Chandelure, and then this Tyranitar, I spent 4.5 mil on it. Moving on to the right here, we have a Pinsir, which is a 2012 competitive Pinsir. As you can see, this is a wild-caught 2012 Mon, naive nature, and then 25 plus in every single stat that it needs. If you look on the 2012 market, I'm just going to go ahead and show this off in the video just because I want to really like put emphasis on how significant this is. We go in the 2012, and then we just did 20 plus on, you know, every single IV except for the attacks. We'll just do everything else, and then you hit search, and then I forgot to do 2012. If you go ahead and look at the 2012 market, these are all the competitive 2012s, and that's assuming that the nature is correct. Like this lonely nature, this doesn't have the attack, and it's lonely, so not super ideal. So this isn't technically comp. Farfetch doesn't run modest, so not comp. This is neutral nature, so not comp. Once again, not comp, and then once again, not comp. Technically, it is because it has special attack. You could argue this is like semi-comp, but Quiet isn't necessarily ideal on Lapras. But as you can see, this thing's listed for 5 mil, and this isn't like perfect. This is like that. No, don't get me wrong, naive nature isn't like perfect for Pinsir, but it's also not awful. And it's 25 plus and everything. So just for context of like how rare a competitive 2012 is and how expensive it can get, yeah, this thing is pretty fucking awesome. I believe I picked this up for 800k. I just saw it on the GTL and sniped it immediately because I understood like what this was worth and how rare it was. But yeah, this is the only 2012 comp that I have, I believe. Moving on to the right here, the A Lucario, that like kind of like a project I was working on myself. I just put a lot of cool particles on this guy, you know, gave him perfect IVs, and then, you know, Adamant Nature of the Team Rocket OT. This thing is probably worth a few mil. I don't really know off the top of my head. I'm just, you know, going off of what I remember. I just wanted a Lucario because I didn't have one, and I wanted to fuck around with making a perfect IV Mon because I've never done that before. So yeah, this is my perfect IV Lucario. It's the only perfect IV Mon that I have, I believe. This is a Team OT Sassy Nature Bronzon. As you can see, it's made for Trick Room, obviously, 0 speed, you know, really good IVs everywhere else. This was hatched in 2021, and it has the Kanto Friends particle on it. Obviously, the reason that I picked this up is because of the OT. You know, having a team OT is pretty fucking sick. In any MMO, whenever you have an OT like Team, Blue, anything like that, those are typically like considered rare OTs or rare IGNs. So having like a Mon with that OT is pretty significant. It's like a cool collector's piece. So I've been collecting like a lot of cool OTs like that. And this one just happens to be competitive ready. With a particle on it, so pretty sick. And then lastly, on the right here, this is a Modest Nature Blastoise with no hatch location. You can actually do this pretty easily. I just picked it up at the time because I thought it was cool. The way you would go about doing this is you hatch eggs while you're viewing a PvP match, and when you hatch the egg, you don't have a hatch location because you're spectating a PvP match. So this right here is a 2014 Gyarados. It's Jolly Nature. If you look at the IVs, really good IVs, and then if you look at the hatch date, it's 2014. So this guy's just special because he's a 2014. Moving on to the right, we have a 2014 competitive Quagsire. As you can see, it's Rash Nature. IVs are really good, and then it was hatched in 2014. Moving on to the right, we have a 2013 Wooper. As you can see, it's Modest Nature, and it has really good IVs, just like the Quagsire. Moving on to the right of that, I have 2 of these Ludicolo's. If you look at this one right here, this is Relaxed Nature, and then if you look at the IVs, it's 0 speed. This is actually a Trick Room Ludicolo right here, and as you can see, it was hatched in 2014. And then this is just a bold Ludicolo with really good IVs, and then it was hatched in 2014 as well. Moving on to the right here, we have 2 Horsies right here. They're both 2014 competitive. So as you can see, this one's Modest, this guy's Modest. If you look at the IVs on these guys, really decent IV spreads on them, and then if you look at the hatch date, they are both 2014. Moving on to this Remoraid right here, this is a Brave Remoraid. As you can imagine, this is a Trick Room Remoraid. I know the speed is a little higher for Trick Room, but it already has a really low speed when it's evolved anyway, so it works. And then as you can see, this is a 2014 hatch date. Moving on to the right here, we have another 2014 comp. It's Bold Nature, really good IVs, and it's a 2014. Moving on right here, I believe this is a 2013, or no, this is a 2014 Hitmonlee. Adamant Nature, really good IVs. I actually used this in the Darkrai raids and it was really useful. So this guy's already gotten some good use out of him. Moving on right here, we have a 2014 Jolly Caesar. As you can see, it's 2014. Moving on to the right of that, we have a 2014 Slack Off right here. Adamant Nature, really good IVs. Moving on right here, this is actually a Safari Wildcaught 2014 competitive Execute right here. As you can see, it's Relaxed Nature, really good IVs. I'm probably going to be using this guy for Trick Room once I train him. Moving on to the right here, we have a 2014 competitive Snorlax. As you can see, it's Sassy Nature, really good IV spread on it, and it was hatched in 2014. Same story with this Ursaring right here, Adamant Nature, really good IVs, hatched in 2014. This right here is a 2013 competitive Ledian. As you can see, this is actually a Wildcaught 2013, and it has Timid Nature, really good IV spread on this guy. Moving on to this Dragonite right here. This is a 2014 competitive Dragonite. As you can see, it's Adamant Nature, It has really good IV spread on it, and it was hatched in 6 Island 2014. I just need to put hidden ability on this guy and it'll be ready to go. Moving on right here, we have a 2014 competitive Farfetch'd. I know Farfetch'd is super niche and probably never going to be used, but I have it anyways. As you can see, it's admin nature. Really good IB spread on this guy, and it is a 2014. Moving on to the next spawn, we have a 2014 competitive Salamence. As you can see, this is a naughty nature Salamence. Really good IV spread on him, and it's a 2014. Moving on right here, we have a 2014 competitive Magnezone. As you can see, it's sassy nature. Really good IV spread on this guy, and it is actually a wild caught in Cerulean Cave from 2014, so that's pretty cool. Moving on right here, we have a 2014 competitive Hypno. As you can see, it's bold nature. Really good IV spread on this guy, and it is hatched in 2014. And then moving on, it looks like a lot of these are 2014 comps, so just a heads up. We have another Magnezone right here, Modest Nature, hatched at 4 Island 2014. Really good IV spread on him. It actually has 0 attack, which is pretty cool. I like when the opposite attack is 0. It makes it look pretty sick. Moving on to the next guy, we have a 2014 Modest Jolteon right here. As you can see, it was hatched in 2014 and has a really good IV spread on it. Moving on to the next mon, we have a 2014 Sassy Ampharos. Really good IVs on this guy, and it is hatched in 2014. Moving on, we have 2 Pichus right here. They're both 2014 comps. As you can see, this one's Hasty, this one's Rash. Hatched in 2014, hatched in 2014. And the IV spreads on these guys are really good. I haven't decided if I want to make these guys in the Pikachus or Raichus. I might do one of the other. Moving on to the right here, we have a 2016 Nidoqueen. I only collect Mon from 2012 to 2016, which is why this is in here. I know 2016 is a little later than what most people collect, but that's kind of what my prerequisite for buying an old Pokemon would be. And if I am going to go in the higher years, like 2015, 2016, it's going to have to be significant in some type of way, like being competitive. As you can see, this is a Adamant Nature Nidoqueen with really good IV spread. And then as you can see right here, we have a 2016 Ninetales. As you can see, this is actually a wild encounter Ninetales at 2016. It's already got an HA on it, Timid Nature, and then really good IV spread on it. Moving to the right, we have a Vulpix Timid Nature, hatched in 2014 with a really good IV spread on it. I might keep this one as a non-hidden ability and this guy as a hidden ability, just because I already have a hidden ability, Ninetales. Moving on to the next mon, we have a Modest Arcanine right here. I know Arcanine usually runs Adamant, but I figured I might as well have a Modest one. Really good IV spread on this guy, hatched in 2014. Moving on to the right here, we have a 2014 Charmander. As you can see, it was hatched in 2014, Adamant Nature, and it has really good IV spreads on it. Moving on to the right here, we have a 2014 competitive Weavile, and I actually think this one's pretty cool because the OT is Winterclaw, and I feel like that kind of matches the Weavile kind of vibe, so pretty sick. We got a Jolly Nature on this guy, hatched in 2014, and really good IV spread. Moving on to the right, we have another 2014 Lax Nature. Walrein, really good IV spread, and hatched in 2014. Moving on to the next one, we have a 2013 Machamp. As you can see, this is actually a wild encounter Machamp, Brave Nature, so it's up attack minus speed, and really good IV spread on this guy. It's not perfect, but honestly, with Machamp, this is pretty solid. The speed's already really low, so I'm fine with it having a minus speed nature and up in attack. Moving on right here, we have a 2014 competitive Rhyhorn. This is actually a wild caught Safari Rhyhorn. As you can see, it's relaxed nature, so minus speed, and really good IV spread on this guy. Moving on to the right, we have a 2014 competitive Steelix. As you can see, this is hatched in 2014, gentle nature, and really good IV spread on this guy. Moving on right here, we have a 2014 Marowak. As you can see, Adamant Nature, hatched in 2014, and really good IV spread on this guy. Moving on to the next one, we have a 2014 Impish Skarmory. Impish is the ideal nature for Skarmory if you're not familiar, and as you can see, it was hatched in 2014, really good IV spread, and once again has that 0 in special attack, so it looks pretty good. Moving on to the right here, we have a 2014 competitive Ghastly. As you can see, it's Timid Nature, hatched in 2014, and amazing IV spread on this guy. And then moving on to the last mon in this box, it is another 2014. We have a 2014 Sableye Naive Nature, hatched in 2014. As you can see, really good IV spread. These guys right here are the majority of my old mon that are competitive ready. And then this guy right here, I wanted to show off because this is actually extremely fucking rare. As you can see, this is an E Unown from 2013. There's one on the market right now for 12 mil. And you're probably thinking to yourself, why the fuck is this worth 12 mil? Like, this one right here is only worth 1 mil. Why is this one 12? Well, the reason for that is this is a 2% encounter rate unknown. Back in the day in Kanto, the only way that you could get unknown were going to the chambers on one of the islands. I don't remember which one, but that is the only way that you would get them. And the E Unown specifically, you would only encounter it 2% of the time. So the chances of somebody from 2013 going to the chambers, catching unknown, running into the E and catching that one is pretty fucking rare. A lot of unknown collectors like Fungus, for example, really seek out the E in particular just because of how fucking rare this thing is. It's really uncommon to find it. As you can see, this is met in 2013. I'm actually giving this to Fungus, so I'm gonna go ahead and send that to him now. I wanted to make this video before I sent this to him. I'm just giving this to him because he's trying to make a 2013 unknown collection, and I support the idea of collecting cool rare mons and having cool collections like that. And I don't really have a significant unknown collection to begin with. I kind of just picked this up on the GTL for like 800k. Someone posted, not really understanding how rare this was. and I picked it up. So I'm just giving it to him. I'm not charging him anything, just because, you know, Fungus is a cool guy. His alt name is Unknown, as you can see. All I asked in return was just an Unknown OT Unknown, which he happily complied with, so I'm really happy about that. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and send him. Let me just do a reply. This E Unown for his collection. For your collection, enjoy. And then I'm going to send him 69 yen. That is my signature when I'm sending mail. And we're going to go ahead and send that to him. There you go. Alrighty, so we have finished the main account. Congratulations, you made it through. The recording time right now is 39 minutes. Oh my god. I'm probably going to chop that up a little bit so it's a little shorter. Moving on to the next account, let me go ahead and log on to my alt real quick, and then I'll go ahead and show you all the other cool mon that I have in my collection right now. Alright, so same thing. I labeled all the cool mon that I want to show up with this diamond right here, so we're going to go ahead and search for the diamond. And as you can see, a lot of boxes light up, so we have a lot of mon to go through. I'll try not to take too long on them, but like I mentioned earlier, this is just going to be a long video. So every single mon right here are all my North Pole Pokemon. As you can see, they have the North Pole catch date. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, North Pole is an event held from 2015 to 2018 where you could enter an event, and having a North Pole catch location mon is extremely difficult / rare to acquire. They typically range on the GTL from 1 mil to 5 mil depending on the seller in the market. These guys I never paid more than 1 mil for. I pride myself in sniping things. Pretty much everything that you are going to be seeing in this video, if I didn't get it for a decent price, I sniped it. Like most of the stuff I collect I snipe, so I never spend a crazy significant amount of money on stuff. With the exception of some things like the North Pole hatch location Tyranitar, I spent 4 mil on, for example. But most of this stuff I sniped. Like a lot of these North Pole mon I would get for like 10k. Moving on to the right here, these are my 6x0 mon. If you're not sure why these are significant, it's pretty obvious. They are 6x0. Nothing else special about them other than the fact that they are 6x0. I got this Squirtle for 200k, which is a really good deal for a 6x0. So pretty happy about that. But yeah, just wanted to show those off. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I have some unknown OTs that aren't necessarily comp ready, but I collect unknown OTs in general, so I wanted to show these off as well. This is an unknown OT Sceptile from 2016. This is an unknown OT Metagross right here from 2016. And then this is an unknown OT Persian from 2016 with a Dark Crystal particle on it. Moving on to the right here, we have a 2012 two-letter. As you can see, this is a VVOT, so a two-letter OT, which is extremely rare. It's really hard to find two-letter OTs nowadays, especially a 2012. As you can see, this is a Wild Encounter 2012, so pretty fucking cool. I found that for the base 2012 price, so I thought that was pretty awesome. Right here, I have a Barrels OT Meryl. Barrels actually changed his name recently with the new update, so you can no longer... I guess you could technically still get a Barrels OT. Someone could just claim it, but this was his original OT when he did run as Barrels. Moving on to the right here, we have another Barrels OT that he made for me. Moving on right here, we have a Diamond OT with a Kanto Friends particle. This is just another one of the situations where it has a really fucking cool OT, like Diamond, so I went ahead and bought it. Moving on to the right here, we have another Petrowski OT, and the story behind this is I claimed a Twitch reward during the Halloween event. When all the swarms were going on, and I requested in particular that I get a Petrowski OT mon that cannot be naturally caught where it's found. So this was a swarm Pokemon from the event. As you can see, it's met in Viridian Forest. It's a Gligar, which you normally can't find there. So shout out Petrowski for getting that to me. It actually has ideal nature. It doesn't have good stats, but you know, this is still, I just wanted it for the OT, so shout out Petrowski for that. Moving on to the right, I have another Petrowski OT. I actually just found this on the GTL, I believe. This is another 6x0, but this is a Jinxed Boon OT. If you guys aren't familiar, Jinxed Boon is a content creator in the community. He gifted this to me a long time ago, and I've been holding on to it ever since. So shout out Jinxed Boon for that. Moving on to these Gyarados right here. I'm sure you guys know this from my other video, but these are all the rare sub-level 20 Gyaradoses that you would get back in the day. I have a 2016, a 2014, and a 2019. And if you're not familiar with this type of collection, essentially Gyarados used to be able to be wild caught before it's evolved level at 20. So there aren't a lot of these on the GTL right now. They usually range from like 1 to 4 mil. All right, moving on to the next one right here. This is apparently a chat mod. I was sent this by my friend. He's actually in my DMs right here. My friend right here sent me this, so shout out to him. But this is apparently a chat mod. I'm not familiar with them, but Lop swore up and down that this was a chat mod's OT, so I kept it. So if you know this person, you know, I have their OT. Moving on right here, this is a pretty cool mon right here. So this is actually a 2015 wild-caught Wobbuffet caught in Cerulean Cave. As you can see, it's Calm Nature, which is ideal nature for Wobbuffet. And look at the IV spread on this guy. This is pretty fucking crazy. I believe I got this for 300k, and I just thought this thing was cool because it's a wild-caught from 2015. with pretty fucking crazy IVs. Like it has 29, 29, 31, 31, 30, 30. I just thought this was really cool, so I picked it up. Moving on to the right here, we have a Bulbasaur with Park's OT on it. If you're not familiar, Park is a game mod or community. I don't really know what his position is necessarily, but he is PokeMMO staff. So shout out Park. I got his OT on a Bulbasaur, so hell yeah. Moving on to the right here, we have the Best Friends 2013 OT that he gave me for Christmas. If you guys remember from earlier, this is Roy Rogers news. And it is a Sentret, which is a relatively rare 2013 Pokemon to begin with. So that's pretty awesome that I got his OT on it. Moving on right here, we have a Plusle with the Ipulaki OT, Modest Nature. If you're a really true fan of this channel, which I'm not sure if anyone really even noticed to begin with, I'm just saying that, but essentially this was my first OT when I first started playing this game. This is what I went by before I became Team Rocket. I changed my OT because, you know, I wanted to be more recognizable in game, and I just thought it was a little weird that my OT didn't really match my YouTube handle. So yeah, this is my old OT. This is the only OT that I have that's competitive ready of my old OT, so I kept it. Moving on to the right here, this is actually a funny story. This is an OT Charmander. I got this off of OT. I saw them in game just, you know, hoarding with me or, you know, encountering with me, and I was like, yo, like, yeah, you have OT, like that's an insane OT. And I was like, can I please have one of your OTs? Like, please, please, please. I begged them up and down. They're like, yeah, sure. They were really cool about it. And they gave me this Charmander. It has really good stats, but it is quirky nature, so unfortunately it is not usable. But, you know, just really cool. I thought this was really awesome. You know, it's not every day you get an OT, so, you know, hell yeah. Moving on right here, this is all of my unknowns from, you know, different years. So this is a 2015 unknown right here. This is a 2016 unknown right here. This is a 2017 unknown right here. This is another 2017 unknown right here. And then this is a competitive unknown. So I pretty much picked up this guy just because it has competitive stats. If you're not familiar, you're unable to breed these guys, so you have to wild catch them. So I just thought that was pretty cool. All right, moving on to this bottom two layers right here. This entire row right here is gonna need a little bit of an explanation. All right, so basically all of these Mon are what I believe to be the first of their kind, essentially. And what I mean by that is back in the day, it was Kanto and then it was Hoenn that was released. And I believe all of these Mon were one of the first Hoenn catches of this particular species. So if you look at the catch date at all of these guys, they're all wild caught at 2015. I believe one of them is a 2016. It's the cast one, that's a 2016. I'm not going to go ahead and look through the market and show you guys all of them, but you can go ahead and search it on your own time if you don't believe me. But essentially, this is the only one of these on the market that is as early as they are. So like, you're not going to find a 2015 Metachan on the market. You're not going to find a 2015 Kecleon. You're not going to find a 2015 Delcatty, a 2015 Electrite, a 2015 Shiftry, Solrock, Trapinch, or Flygon. Basically, these are the first wild caught variations of all of these that are available in the GTL, which is a really niche collection. These definitely aren't worth anything, honestly. It's just kind of like a personal thing that I've been working on. All right, and then onto the last row of this box right here. These are all just cool catch locations. If you guys remember from the event, you were able to hatch Mon and New Moon. These are all just New Moon hatch locations from the event. These three right here are the only competitive New Moon Mon that I made. So if you look at these guys' stats, we have a Timid Nature, Love Disc. I just made this troll, but pretty good IVs. As you can see, it was hatched in New Moon. If you look at this guy, it's Sassy Nature, really good IVs, hatched in New Moon. And then this is an Adamant Gligar, really good IVs, hatched in New Moon. I don't know if they're ever going to be worth anything because obviously everybody had the same idea. They were just, hatching Mon and New Moon for the cool hatch location, but I have those collected if they ever do end up becoming worth anything. Moving on to the next box right here. This is my old starter box. So a lot of you guys might be more familiar with this market than other markets. If you're not familiar, having an old starter from back in the day is a really expensive thing. Like if you go into the GTL right now and we go to like 2012, for example, and then we look up like Char. As you can see, a Charizard is 3 mil, 5 mil. If you look up Blastoise, 3 mil, 24 mil for one for Particle, 18 mil. You guys kind of get the idea. The price kind of like withers down the higher year you go. As you can see, this one's only 500K for a 2013. Look at Charizard, a more common one. So it's a few 100K. The 2012s are worth more. It kind of dwindles down in price the farther up you get. I collect up to 2018, and the reason that I do that is if you do go to 2018. Let's go to catch year 2018. And then we look up like Blastoise. There's only one. In fact, I'm going to buy this one. I'm on my ult. Okay, I will buy this after this video. But you go Charizard. There's, 5 of them, and they're all like comp builds. If you look at, Venusaur, there isn't a Venusaur. So the reason that I collect up to 2018 is just there's not a lot of them around. So that's kind of like my gauge for what I'll collect. I'll buy anything from 2012 to 2018. And usually I try to snipe these if I can. I don't like to spend a significant amount of money on them. And I'm not going to go ahead and click on each one and show you the catch here just so you can like know what it is. What I am going to do is I'm going to keep the same symbol highlight because they all have that. I'm just going to do catch here. I do not have any 2012s for the starters yet. 2013s, I have these guys right here. I have a 2013 War Turtle right here, another 2013 War Turtle, 3 2013 Blastoises, and then I have 1 2013 Charmander, and then 4 2013 Charizards, and then this Charizard right here has the Dark Crystal and the Anniversary Cake Particle on it. A lot of these have like really good stats. Like if you look at like this, where is it? Like this Bulbasaur, for example, it has really good stats. But I'm just going to show you guys like the actual Mon in the year. If we go to 2014, for example, I have a 2014 Bulbasaur, and then Venusaur, Bulbasaur, 3 2014 Venusaurs, a 2014 Charizard, and then 3 more 2014 Charizards here. If we change it to 2015, these are all my 2015s right here. If we change it to 2016, these are all my 2016s right here. These actually are really cool. If you look at the 2016 Charmanders, I thought the OT was pretty cool. It's Prince Dragon. But if you look at the wild caught, it's caught in Mount Ember. These are Swarm Pokemon. I just started collecting like all the 2016 Swarm Charmanders just because I think they're cool. But yeah, those are all my 2016s. If we go to 2017, I have these 3 right here. These are also Mount Ember catches. And then 2018, the last year that I collect, I have a few right here, as you can see. Moving on to the next 2 boxes right here. This is another niche collection that I have. I made a video talking about these guys and how to get them and explain what they are, but I'll re-explain it here. Essentially, these are the Hoenn starters that are met at a level they can no longer be met at. As you can see, Torchic is met at level 15 right here, wild caught, but if you look at the wild locations, it can only be met at level 19. If you go ahead and look at Mudkip, for example, this one's wild caught at level 25, but if you look at its catch locations, it can only be caught at level 8. And then if you go to the next box right here, where my Tricos are, as you can see, this one is met at 25. If you go to the wild locations, it can only be caught at level 9. So this is just kind of like a really niche collection that I've gotten into. If you go ahead and look at the market right now, if we go ahead and just change the level to 25, and we look up Trico, nothing. If you look up Mudkip, there's one for 2 mil right now. You go ahead and make the level 15, and then you look up the Torchics. There's 2 up there, one's 3 mil, one's 12 mil. So as you can see, there's quite literally like not any of these on the GTL right now, and if they are on the GTL, they're expensive as fuck. And I have all of these. I have a lot of them with particles, like they all have 1 particle, so you can see right here. I'm just gonna click through them so you can see real quick. This guy has the little drip particle right here. This guy's Kanto Friends. This guy's the drip. This guy is really cool because it has the King's Fall particle, which is boss particle, I believe. And having it on the Torchic from, the level 15 catch state, it's pretty fucking cool. This guy right here is just another Kanto Friends. And then if you go to the next box right here, I don't have any Tricos of particles, but I do have this Mudkip of Kanto Friends. But these are all the rare medets that I have so far. I have so many of the Mudkips that I literally had to go into my Torchic box. So I'm probably going to have to use this NA box for some more rare medets when I get more of them. But I think I can confidently say I have the majority of them in the game. Like, as you guys saw in the GTL, there was like 3 of them listed, and they were worth several mil. I have all of them, pretty much. I went pretty fucking crazy in buying these. I was really bullish in buying them. It's a really cool collection. I'm really happy with this collection so far. I think I'm definitely one of the big whales, if you will, in this type of collection. So I'm really happy with these guys. Moving on to the next box right here. These are all my no OTs. I explained what no OTs were earlier in the video, but these are all my other ones. None of these are comp ready. They're just, just normal no OTs. I'm not going to go for all of them and show you that they're no OT. You're just going to have to trust me, but I'll flip through a couple of them just to show you. They're all no OTs. So yeah, hell yeah. This is my collection so far on these guys. Just for context, I don't spend the base price for no OTs. Like if I see one that's listed for 300K, I'm not going to buy it. I only buy these if I find them for a deal. So these were all purchased for, cheap. They, the person either, just didn't know what they had or what have you. I just bought them for the low. Like I said, most of this collection has just been for me sniping stuff. Like I take pride in collecting things, but doing it for the low, not spending a lot of money on them. Moving on to one of my crazier collections that I was also very bullish with, similar to the rare medats. These are my first alphas collection. As you can see, I have 3 boxes. So as you can imagine, I have quite a few of these guys. If you go ahead and look at, I have a template for it. I don't have it on this account then. That's unfortunate. You go to Alpha, Fateful Encounter, and then you go to the catch year 2022, the first year that they came out, and you search. And then, oh, this Pikachu actually just went up. I'm about to buy this after this video because that's a super low price for a Pikachu. But if you look at Clefairy, for example, this is how many are left on the GTL right now. And I have all of these. I have 2 of them with particles right here. As you can see, this is the Phantom Particle. And this guy right here has the Dark Crystal Particle. So these alphas in particular, if it has Kanto friends in it, it's worth a shitload of money. Like 1.6 mil right now. As you can see, these 3 are listed on the market for 1.6 mil. I don't have any of those. That's not necessarily a collection that I am dipped into right now. I'm mainly just trying to collect them in general. My goal is to collect all of them or the majority of them. I like the idea of having the majority of them. I don't know why. I started collecting these and I thought it was sick. So these are all my Clefairies and Clefables from the Fateful Encounters. I'm not going to show you every single one, but you can just trust me. They're all Fateful Encounter 2022. I'll just show you a couple of them so you kind of believe me a little bit more. Moving on to the next box. These are the Pikachus, the Electrodes, the Meowths, Persians, the Evolutions. Let's just search a few of these guys so you can get some context. The Pikachu is a little bit more common. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be buying this one for 22k. Severely underlisted. I do not know why this person listed this for 22k. The going rate is above 200k. The Electrode right here, none on the GTL right now, so hell yeah. Persian, nothing. Meowth, there's 7 of them and 200k minimum. Eevee, 2 of them on the GTL right now. One of them's 100k. If you look at like Vaporeon, nothing. Jolteon, nothing. Flareon, nothing. Glaceon, nothing. So yeah, that's the extent of these guys. Moving on to the next box right here. This needs a little bit more of an explanation than the first alphas here. So these technically weren't the first batch of alphas. They were like the Christmas alphas, I believe, that came after the same year. As you can see, they're all caught in December, Fateful Encounter 2022. If you look these guys up, not a single Vanillix. If you look at the Beartic, not a single Beartic. If you look at the Delibird, not a single Delibird. If you look at the Stantler, not a single Stantler. And keep in mind, I'm on 2022, Fateful Encounter. It's the only thing in the search parameter. These are the only ones that exist. I have all of them. These 2 right here have particles on them. This one has the Phantom Particles, so hell yeah, pretty sick. The story behind these guys is when I was doing the Fateful Encounter 2022 collection, I noticed that these like snow Pokemon would pop up, and I was like, what is going on with this? Because it was very infrequent. Like, there are some Cryogonals that pop up, which are kind of a part of the same niche, which I probably just should start buying. There's actually only one right here. I'll probably pick that up after this video. But I just started noticing like these Snowmon popping up, and I kind of looked into it. And yeah, these are, a set of the first alphas from December of 2022, and these are the only ones that were listed on the GTL, and I bought all of them. Moving on to the next box right here is my 2012 collection. Not much explanation needs to go into this. These are just all of my 2012s. I'm going to go ahead and just change advanced filter and just make it 2012, so I don't have to show you the dates on all of them. As you can see, these all still highlight. This guy right here has the Dark Crystal Particle on it, so pretty sick. These are just all the 2012s that I managed to get. If you're curious which of these are like the quote-unquote rarest, it would definitely be the Electabuzz, this Teddy Ursa, the Ditto, the Muck, Hoot Hoot, Pineco. Any other rares in here? The Magmortar and the Houndoom. The rest of these are relatively common 2012s. They would probably go for like the base price 2012. Feebas is a little bit more expensive nowadays, actually. But these are like my rare 2012s. Like I mentioned before, I mainly snipe when I'm investing. I don't really like to buy stuff at base price. I get more satisfaction out of sniping this stuff and then adding it to my collection than just buying it outright for the base price, which is why my 2012 collection isn't too significant. All of these were purchased for really low prices. Like these were probably purchased for like the base price of 2012, but I knew that they were rare, so I bought them for the base price. And then these guys I must have gotten for a really good deal if I have them. But yeah guys, that is everything on this account, and we're almost there. Let me look at the recording time. I'm sitting at 1 hour and 4 minutes. Jesus Christ. Okay. Moving on to the next account, the next and final account. Alright, and we are on my final alt right here with stuff that I wanted to show off for this video. So if we go ahead and do the same symbol highlight, we can see all the mon that I want to show off. And it's actually not a lot on this account. I am going to just go ahead and quickly show off these boxes that aren't highlighted, just because I do want to show you guys this so you can kind of have more context on why I say my collection is worth several hundred mil. These are all my 2014s. I'm just going to pan through them so you guys can see. You know what, just so I can like prove that this isn't bullshit, let me just make the symbol 2014 real quick. Get rid of the symbol. As you can see, these are all my 2014s. I'm just going to slowly pan through this so you can get an idea. This particle right here is just the Phantom Particle. But 2014s, more 2014s. more 2014s, and more 2014s. We change the filter to 2013 right here. We can see 2013s, 2013s, 2013, 2013, and some more 2013s. Yeah, I don't really need to explain why they're rare. You know, they're rare because they're old. I kind of stopped, or at least slowed down, on buying 2014s and 2013s because I have the majority of the rare ones. I have a lot of the common ones, and it's just taking up so much box space at this point that I'm going to have to start buying PC expansion drives for these accounts. So I definitely have slowed down on buying these guys just because they're taking up so much space. I was a huge avid collector on picking these guys up because I was really passionate about them. And I still am, but, you know, I have the majority of the rares now. You know, I've kind of, that high has already kind of left my body. I'm kind of used to these guys now. I did want to show off that I do still have the, you know, the legendary moves on all the Smeargles right here. This is from a video I made a while ago. Alrighty guys, in typical YouTuber fashion, I took a month off from making this video. So in that time, I've managed to snipe a lot off the GTL. And you may even notice that my boxes, for example, I have a lot more because I purchased a lot more boxes in that time. So yeah, we're going to be showing off everything that I've sniped off the GTL in the last month. That's kind of similar to everything that I've shown off in this video already. It's just more stuff. Sure, you guys could probably tell what these are based on if you watched the section of the video where I showed off my, you know, first alpha collection. These guys are not significant anyways, IVs, nature, anything. They're just what they are that I got at a discounted rate. So we have, you know, the Clefairies and Clefables from the first alphas. We have the Pikachus and the Meowths, and, you know, just to show you. The significant ones, however, are these evolutions at the bottom right here. As you guys can see, these guys are all ideal nature, and then they have good IVs. So Bold is good on Vaporeon, and if you look at the IVs on this guy, it's pretty solid other than the 16 defense. Naughty nature is good on Flareon, and this guy just has a really good IVs in general. Timid nature can be good on some evolutions, and this is really good IVs for timid nature aside from the HP. Modest nature is good on some evolutions, and as you can see, the IVs are damn near perfect on this, including a 31 special, so this one's pretty awesome. And then we have another Jolly nature, pretty good on most evolutions, and we have really good IV spread on everything. And as you guys can see, these are all Fateful Encounter 2022s. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I do collect all of the, you know, snow Pokemon Fateful Encounters from 2022 that are like extremely rare. There's like not a lot of these on the GTL, and I did just want to show off, I did find 2 of them with some cool particles on. This guy has Phantom Particle, and then this guy also has Phantom Particle. None of these guys have any crazy like natures or IVs or anything like that. I mean, some 3x31s or whatever, but, you know, nothing too usable as far as like comp. And now we're going to move on to the next box that I wanted to show off. This top row right here is just some starters that have different catch years on them. I'm not going to go through every single catch year, but just to show you some of them, you know, we got 2018 Charmeleons right here. We have a 2016 Charmeleon right here. 2 2018 Charizards. I'll show you the years on those real quick. And then we have a 2016 Venusaur. Right here below is a under level 20 Gyarados with a particle on it, caught in 2016. I was actually gifted this by Lopkos. Sorry if I'm butchering the name pronunciation, but thank you to them for that. Moving on, we have another level 25 Mudkip. As you know from earlier, that you cannot catch these at this level anymore, so that's pretty cool. I have a No OT 2x31 Staryu. Not competitive, unfortunately, but if you know anything about the No OT market, Staryu is the rarest of all of them, so managed to get one of those, luckily. And then this bottom row right here is just cool OTs that I managed to either get sent by people or I just managed to find on the GTL, so we're going to go ahead and show these off. This one right here is an unknown OT. Moving on to this next one, we just have an Ekans OT. I actually have this person on my friends list. I'm not really sure exactly who this is on my friends list. They just sent it to me the day the names changed, so shout out them for that. Same thing with this Chansey OT right here. I was just sent this by whoever Chansey is via mail. Moving on, we have a Crobat OT. I still need to evolve this into Crobat, but it is competitive ready, and it's obviously going to be the name of the Mon that it is, so that's pretty fucking awesome. And then these last 3 are just stuff that I found on the GTL cool OTs. These 4 were sent to me. These 3 I found on the GTL. So this one right here is an OU OT. If you guys aren't familiar, OU is a type of matchmaking that you can do called Overused. It's typically referred to as OU, so having an OU OT is pretty cool. And to make this thing even cooler, this thing has a Snowflake Particle, and it is competitive ready, Adamant Nature, 5x31. Moving on to this next OT right here, we have a 1 OT, which is pretty cool. It's a 2018. And as you can see, it's a 5x31 Timid Nature 1 OT. Pretty cool. This 1 OT is actually 2018 too. I did not notice that at first, but yeah, there's a 2018 right there. And lastly, I did want to show off that I found a Spidget OT on the GTL. I actually don't have a Spidget OT. We haven't really conversed that much in private, so I've never really had the opportunity to ask him for one. But I do like watching his streams. I think he's a great content creator. And I just randomly found one of his Mysterious Cherish Ball Mon. Mild nature, pretty much competitive stats. So that's pretty cool. I can add this as one of my raid Mon. So pretty awesome. And then last but not least, this box right here, I have a few different Mon that I wanted to show off. All of these Unknown are all 2016. If you guys are familiar with the Unknown market, it's kind of hard to find any Unknown like sub 2018. They're just pretty rare. And I found somebody who dumped like a whole row +1 of 2016s. I'll just show off the year of some of them. As you can see, 2016 right here. 2016, you guys get the idea. I don't really have like an Unknown Dex collection. I just picked them up because I know they are rare. So I just have these now. Moving on right here, this is a 2016 competitive ready Kangaskhan. As you can see, 2016. And this has a particle on it, the Kanto Friends. If you remember earlier in the video, I do collect particle competitive Mon from back in the day. So that's definitely going in that collection after this video. And then on the right here, if you guys remember from earlier in the video, I had a collection of Mon that are likely the first iteration of them, like they're the earliest variations of that Mon that I could find on the GTL. And I just happened to find these like in the last month that are arguably close to that, if not they are the first of that Mon. As you can see, I have a 2016 Kecleon, a 2016 Manectric, a 2015 Electric, and then a 2016 Shedinja. So I just picked those up because I wasn't sure if they were the first or not, and I figured why not. But yeah, guys, that was my entire collection. Everything that I've collected in the last, year of playing this game, damn near. I think I started playing this game in, I started playing this game in December of 2023, and it is currently July of 2025. So I've been playing this game for over a year now, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, guys, I've spent 2,600 hours in this game, and I've managed to amass this giant collection of rare Pokemon. I think it's worth around 300 to 500 mil. I'm just going to put 500 mil in the title for clickbait reasons, but feel free to go in the comment section and give me your analysis of how much you think this entire collection is worth. It could be worth less, it could be worth more. I think personally 500 mil is a good guesstimate, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have more content out in the future. I know that's been a little bit of a break since I posted anything. I kind of just needed a little break from PokeMMO, and I was finishing my training in the army, so you know how that goes. But anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day. Smell you later.